My name is Bill Curtis, and welcome to Code Blue News.
Coronavirus is having an effect on a lot of different aspects of our daily lives. We can see this reflected in the town elections, which were recently delayed. Niall Horgan has more on the story.
The town clerk is requesting a court order to delay the planned election on April 4th in absence of state legislation authorizing the towns to act on their own regarding rescheduling the election.
COVID-19 has been impacting towns throughout the state of Massachusetts in numerous ways. One major effect that COVID-19 has had is on town elections. Town elections for Holbrook were meant to have already have taken place, yet they have had to be delayed due to the outbreak in order to guarantee the safety of Holbrook residents. This has left many Holbrook residents wondering how town elections will be impacted and what changes will be made.
The governor signed new legislation that made it easier for towns to postpone their elections, because before it was you had to go through court in a whole drawn-out process, but they obviously simplified it due to the crisis. So currently, Holbrook's elections are postponed. We don't have a definite date yet. We're still trying to, figure it out, especially because we don't really know when the whole quarantine and stay-at-home advisory will be over. So we're trying to figure out, will it be safe to have people come out and vote, or do we want to, do voting by mail? A lot of things are unfortunately still up in the air, but it's something we're still processing, and a lot of other towns are too. We're still figuring out if, voting by mail is viable. That's definitely an option, but we have to really see how other towns proceed, if the state government comes out with more legislation. Like I said, everything's, we're trying our best, but we don't have all the answers right now, unfortunately, day by day.
The town has also been impacted in several other ways.
Like I said, town hall has its closures and it's still functioning. It's just more continuing operations to the best that we can. So obviously there's, some things we can't do. Town clerk, my boss, she used to perform weddings, or officiate weddings rather. Can't really do that anymore. No one's allowed in the town hall, so that's kind of a big thing because a lot of my job's interacting with the public, so I can't really do that as well. More specifically, I don't really know about, how businesses, people know schools closed and stuff like that, but I don't know how, the general public is doing. The town hall is still there. We're still open for people, so if you need anything, you can give us a call and we'd be happy to help to the best of our ability.
We here at Code Blue News will continue to update you on all of our social media outlets throughout the coronavirus outbreak. For now, I'm Niall Horgan. Stay safe, everyone.
Of a state of emergency to respond to COVID-19, and because of the recommendation of the Holbrook Board of Registers, the town Holbrook's annual town election is hereby postponed.
Motion made by Selectman Vader.
Have you wondered what's happened to the NFL draft as a result of coronavirus? Andrew LaRossi has more on the story.
The NFL is one of the many sports leagues that's been forced to adapt after the coronavirus hit the United States. Although the NFL is in its off-season, the NFL draft is quickly approaching, where eligible college players enter the league. Since 1936, the draft has been generally run in the same way. All the team's representatives gather in a building, they get called by their respective general managers on who they're selecting, and that pick is given to the commissioner to announce to everyone else. But due to social distancing and all league facilities being closed, the NFL commissioner, Roger Goodell, sent out a memo on April 6th, announcing that the draft will be fully virtual. According to the memo, team personnel will have to operate in separate locations and use phones or the internet to communicate. Up until the actual draft, which is from April 23rd to 25th, there will be multiple mock draft tests to make sure everything goes smoothly. 58 of the top draft prospects have been invited to join. More details on how they'll actually participate will be coming in the next couple of weeks. Until then, all meetings between players and teams will be over a video call, and all individual workouts have been canceled. This has been Andrew LaRossi with Code Blue News, signing off.
This coming week would have been April vacation for us Holbrook students. However, coronavirus has made it so that we're going to have to do online learning throughout the entirety of the week, except for Monday. Nick Chaffee has more on the story.
Hi guys, I'm Nick, and to be the bearer of either good or bad news, school, well, we're probably still going to be working during April vacation. Okay, so what? You're telling me that I still have to wake up at 8:30 during quote-unquote April vacation? Yeah, obviously. However, though, since our vacation has already come and gone in the form of the 3 weeks that we didn't actually have to do anything since our quarantine started, I personally think it's fair to say vacation should be used for classes rather than just sitting around doing nothing, but again, that's just my opinion. So, that's just me talking. So, as I did in the last segment, let's go out and get thoughts.
The thought of April vacation being canceled doesn't really affect me at all because I was supposed to go away, but now I'm not because we're in, obviously, quarantine, and I would rather get that week out of the way and do work so we don't have to make it up by the end of the year, and it's just better to pass time with more school.
So I do understand the reason we don't have April vacation week off, but I don't really think it's fair. I get that it's less hours of work at home and we have more time to do other things, but I still do not believe that they should give us work that week. I get that they gave us Monday off, but I think they should give us the whole week off.
So, from the two people that I talked to, there are two sides to the story, actually. Am I able to explain this? Not as good as some other people could, but I can try. So, for the people saying that it's good, like Bridget, it makes sense. We've been bored for weeks, and having at least something to do during the week is great. It keeps our mind going, and it keeps our routine in check, among a bunch of other topics. However, for the people on JD's side, people who may think this isn't a good idea, that I can probably explain as well. Teachers will be telling us during the week that we should work in a place where we sleep, eat, play games, watch Netflix, and overall just never think about school unless there's project or homework that we have to do. Plus, this is during a quote-unquote vacation or spring break. People may be in a mindset of, oh, it's vacation, the teachers won't mind, I can just wait until the last minute. If they either don't hear about this on our remote show, or on the email that was sent out about April vacation. It may irk a few people, and that's understandable. No situation is perfect for a large amount of people. To finish this off, I will remind you that we don't actually have school on the 20th of April, and everyone doesn't have to go to a Zoom class. So, yeah, after all that, I can imagine. Work will probably be very taxing for a lot of people. So, I figured I can appeal to a little small demographic that they can de-stress or something. Introducing to you the world of gaming. So, with this, I don't have time to talk about it here. So, I'm going to be talking about what games you can play. So with that, I'll be heading into my closet. I'll see you next time.
Have you been worried about what is going to happen to major standardized testing such as MCAS due to coronavirus? Brianna Graziano has more on the story.
Third reading to him was referred this day, the Senate amendment of the House bill to further address challenges faced by municipalities, school districts, and state authorities resulting from COVID-19. House number 4616, Committee on Bills and Third Reading reports recommending that the amendment is correctly drawn.
Mr. Question now comes on concurrence. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed nay. The ayes have it. The House concurs.
Teachers, parents, and education advocates who have been pushing for the MCAS requirements to be waived since students were sent home to study remotely have finally got what they've been fighting for. On Friday, April 10th, Governor Charlie Baker signed a bill that waives the Massachusetts Comprehensive Assessment System, also known as MCAS testing requirements, for the 2019-2020 school year. Canceling MCAS testing for the remainder of this school year will enable our teachers and students to focus on learning and personal well-being as we continue to navigate the current public health emergency. State Senator Jason Lewis, a chair of the legislature's Education Committee said in a statement after the bill was agreed. The new law requires Education Commissioner Jeff Riley to vacate the annual requirement for a standardized test in public schools amid disruptions caused by the coronavirus pandemic. The Department of Elementary and Secondary Education will also be instructed to modify or waive MCAS standards typically required to acquire a high school diploma. This has been Brianna Graziano with Code Blue News.
Distance learning has been a unique experience for both students and teachers. Niall Horgan has more.
Hey Bulldogs, remote learning has been an interesting experiment for all of us. Let's hear what some students have to say about it.
So, remote learning, in my opinion, it's a very good idea. Keeps my mind sharp through this whole thing. Gives me something to do.
I prefer what we're doing now because it's basically the same thing. Rather than going to school for half the day, wasting our time talking about what we're going to be doing anyways. Now we can get straight to the work. If we don't understand it, the teachers give us videos to where we can watch and get to learn more about what we're learning about.
I prefer the traditional way of school instead of this, because in school it's basically you're in a classroom and pretty much the only thing you really have to do there is the work that's given in front of you. Here at home, you're given the work, but I look around me and I see many distractions, so I tend to get distracted pretty easily. It's something I'm trying to work on, but yeah, I just prefer being in a classroom environment where it's supposed to happen naturally.
With school learning, I guess you get to be more hands-on with the teachers, and if you really don't understand something, they can come up to you and explain it to you in a way that you would understand. But for me, I mean, this is kind of easier because I'm more of a head-on type of learner. I can just see what I'm doing and I just get to understand it better. It wasn't really that hard to adjust to the learning at home because we were already doing it, like I said, basically with the Chromebooks. Now we have the video classes where we can go in. If we really don't understand what they gave us, we can talk to them and still get that head-on learning. Or they can give us different videos and ed puzzles that can help us really get to better understand what they give us.
Yeah, just trying to learn from home, getting up at 8, 9 in the morning and then going to class for going to class for an hour is it's very weird, and being in my room instead of being in a classroom, it's different, but I mean it's still school and you're still learning stuff.
As students have been dealing with this new way of learning, teachers also have to figure out new ways to teach. Here are thoughts from a few of Holbrook Middle High School's fine teaching staff.
I've been trying to engage my students and get them to continue their learning, and some ways I'm doing that. I'm trying to post things here and there on my Instagram, more for entertainment than for learning, but I am posting some learning related things there. I'm also doing class sessions, so I've been doing either Zoom or Google Hangouts for my classes. And so I'll do a 15-minute class session and I'll teach a quick little lesson, and then I'll give the kids something to do after that.
I think the most important thing that I can do to help my students continue to learn while we're apart is actually the most important thing one of the most important things I can do even when we're together, which is to provide specific, individual, and timely feedback on the assignments that I post.
I feel like the best thing I can do to help my students continue to learn is really make sure that I'm there for them as much as I can be and checking in as often as possible and trying to be as consistent as possible.
In order to help my students continue to learn, I'm conducting weekly Google Meets that consist of teaching, instruction, notes, clarifying questions on assignments or questions that they may have regarding the remote learning. I'm also available on Google Hangouts as well as my email pretty much 24/7. My hope is that even though we're doing the remote learning, my job as their teacher is to help them continue to learn and help them to prepare for their next school year.
That's hard for me. My daughter is 3 years old and she's home every day now too with me, so I'm trying to be a dad and a teacher at the same time. But I know everyone else is dealing with that too, and having consistent check-ins is really, I think, important.
My expectations for students moving forward is that they check in, that during the hours that we are meant to spend with one another during the week, the student is checking Google Classroom, making sure they know what assignments are upcoming, what's expected of them on the individual assignment, and reaching out to me if anything is confusing.
Expectations for my students regarding their schoolwork is really that they are continuing to work and continuing to learn and continuing to be engaged. Being engaged is the most important thing, I feel like. And honestly, most teachers, I think that's their preference, is that students don't worry about the grades as much about understanding that the assignments we give are for a purpose in order to help them improve and grow and learn. And so that's what I really want to be the focus.
The hope is that you're doing your schoolwork between 9 and 12. That's kind of what I'm doing, like I'm up and ready and moving and posting work and doing group chats and doing video chats and just trying to get people to be talking to each other and getting some things done. My hope is that kids are doing what they can when they can.
Is Zoom recapturing the classroom feel? I don't think so. It's a nice tool. It's great. I like to see everybody's face and like have an actual sort of human interaction that isn't just me writing feedback and someone else's response and question. Like I get to ask people how they're doing and see their faces. But it's totally different. I don't have the same interaction that like truly human interaction that we all have in a classroom. As far as using it as a tool for lecturing, I'm more apt to probably just record something and then open up a forum for people to ask questions individually and as a class if there's going to be any lectures moving forward.
Nothing can compare to being in the classroom with the students. You miss that personal connection, that time to be able to kind of, when they walk into the class, to be able to just welcome them in, see how things are going, how their day has been so far. We also miss out on that group discussion feel, the ability to kind of have everyone, the entire class involved in a discussion. These meetings are important. I am providing instruction, answering questions, reading with the students. So it's my hope that they do participate. Oftentimes I have gotten emails from students who did not participate in the Google meetings with questions that were actually brought up and answered during the Google meetings.
I do think that you can get some of the same vibes. Like I've had a couple of classes where there's already kids like making these silly jokes and I have to tell them that I'm going to kick them out of the video chat. So that's definitely like a classroom feel for sure. But it's definitely not the same, and I really, really miss being in the classroom. It's been hard, but we're all in this together and we're going to get through it.
This has been Niall Horgan from Co Blue News. Back to you. Have you ever wondered what talents your classmates have? Holbrook's Got Talent is a competition showing off just that. Matt Messina is here with more on the story.
Quarantine has been quite an experience for a lot of us. Have you ever wanted to sit on your couch for 2 months while actively helping your community?
Finally.
It feels like almost every aspect of our society has been shut down due to the coronavirus. Sure, you have the new Animal Crossing, low gas prices, and the chance to catch up on sleep and work, but for the most part, being away from friends, classmates, and extended family is truly sad. However, for us Holbrook High students, the grind never stops. Before we get our virtual Spirit Week, we have the competition Holbrook's Got Talent. Well, I guess we can add this to the list of silver linings.
Holbrook's Got Talent is an idea that came from Student Council. And it's just an opportunity for students and staff at Holbrook Middle High School to show off what talents they have. They can send in videos, they could send in pictures, and we're going to work and compile them and put together a little contest to see who wins, who has the most talent.
So let's say you finally organized your closet, scrimmaged through Netflix for hundreds of hours, and read that book you were meaning to but was too busy in the winter. What are you going to do after that? Holbrook's Got Talent, baby! Are you a talented musician, artist, sleeper, athlete, or singer?
You're not getting an example for that one.
To enter, send in your video, less than 90 seconds, of you showing off your talent. All entries must be submitted via your school email and a Google Drive link sent to Miss Gallagher at gallagher@holbrook.k12.ma.us by the start of our Spirit Week, which will kick off Monday, April 20th. But info about that will come later. Holbrook's Got Talent will be released in its entirety to wrap up Spirit Week on Friday, April 24th. That may seem like a lot of information, but I'll leave it here for 3 seconds for you to screenshot.
We just want to make sure that people know that they can submit videos and pictures. It doesn't have to be a video. It can be a picture of something you've created that kind of shows off your talent. And the winners will end up getting a $25 gift certificate to a Holbrook restaurant of their choice.
This is a great way for our school to come together in a time of mass isolation, so don't be shy to show off your skills. You've heard it before from more trustworthy sources, but let me reiterate, we are in this together. This is Matt Messina, back to you in the studio.
While everyone is affected by coronavirus, not everyone is an essential worker. George is here to tell you a little bit more about it.
So, does everyone remember when this whole virus started? I said in my segment that it probably won't be that big of a deal and it'll probably all blow over in no time.
There isn't any need to freak out over this virus due to a few reasons.
Yeah, me neither. Well, COVID-19 went from a tiny little virus hanging out in the East to a worldwide pandemic in a quick minute. And by a quick minute, I mean 2 months. Bruh. Corona time has done much more than infect a million people, okay? Here's a quick fact. Did you know that the number of filed unemployment cases are at its highest ever? The other two highest points of filed unemployment cases are back when the stock market crashed in 2008, and back when the stock market crashed during the Great Depression. So, there's that for you. Some people actually have to work during these times as well. Examples are medical staff, supermarket employees, and low-life baggers at a Massachusetts supermarket chain. I'm sure many of us students have a parent or guardian working in the front lines right now. I personally have a mom, an aunt, and a couple of close friends who are all nurses still working.
My name is Nicole Howley. I currently am a nurse educator.
My current occupation is a business office manager in a nursing home.
My name is David Hillman. I'm a registered nurse.
I am the independent living director for a retirement living community in Weymouth.
Many businesses around the world, including mine, have taken measures and precautions to help reduce the spread of the virus for employees and customers.
Personal protective equipment.
Personal protective equipment.
Obviously, we use a lot of personal protective equipment.
They have gowns, they have masks, they have goggles.
We have some new policies on wearing masks more frequently than we usually did.
Doing no visitors right now.
We have one way in, one way out.
I shaved off my beard because some of the masks you can't wear if you have facial hair.
Hand washing, extra hand sanitizing stations.
Anybody that comes in the building gets their temperature taken. If their temperature is over 100 degrees, they're asked to leave.
Canceling activities and social gatherings.
All kinds of stuff, oxygen tanks.
Other nurses that are running and helping them get things if they need things so they don't have to come out of the area that's infected.
The virus has many effects on those working right now, mentally and physically. Physically, obviously, is getting the virus. Mentally being the stress and anxiety of working around those who might be infected or getting infected.
These patients, like I said, are really, really sick.
We do have infected people, and a few have passed away from it.
It certainly is highly contagious and very, very serious.
You might not even experience the symptoms while you're still transmitting it to other people who will get sick from it and can die from it.
Having to drive there in the morning is scary, not knowing what happened while I wasn't there.
And a lot of people are scared and worried about coming forward with symptoms because they know it will put them out of work. And that's how this is spreading more and more.
It's always stressful. It's just a different kind of stress. It's just the kind of stress that everybody's feeling.
Or the multitudes of customers panic buying toilet paper and meat. Hashtag shameless plug, hashtag Trukey's gang. Regardless on the effects on people, I think we all agree that Corona time has gone a little too far. Don't get me wrong, I'm perfectly fine with going to bed at 5 a.m. and waking up at 1 p.m. I just want to do it on my own free will. I don't want it to happen because of some dumb old virus. I think the trick to get through this whole quarantine is everyone should do their own part.
So doing your part by recognizing your risk.
I'd say stay home, but some of us can't. So you just have to be very, very careful.
I just hope everybody's staying safe. I'm staying as safe as I can, and definitely continue social distancing. I think it is working.
It's really important to wash your hands and sanitize.
Communicating when there is a risk so it doesn't continue to pass to others is so important right now.
Use social distancing, cover your mouth.
Don't go out without a mask anywhere. Anywhere.
Take care of your neighbors, take care of each other, and take care of the nurses.
Follow those to hopefully get us past this pandemic.
You social distance, you wash your hands, you just pretty much take care of yourself and probably even take care of some others. Well, that's it for me, the most inconsistent Code Blue member of all time. I'm gonna go buy Animal Crossing and invade my coworker's island. I'll see you guys later.
Just because we're not in school, it doesn't mean we can't have school spirit. Here's a little bit more about Virtual Spirit Week.
Next week is Spirit Week. Each day, students will be able to participate in different activities, 12:30 for middle schoolers and 2 o'clock for high schoolers. Miss Gal is here with more info on how the event will be run and how you guys can participate.
Okay, so for the virtual Spirit Week, there are going to be themes for each day that students and staff can dress up just like we would at a regular Spirit Day at school, and they can post their pictures on Instagram, and there'll be different hashtags for each day. Same thing with Twitter. They could share it to the Holbrook Middle High School Facebook page, or they can email them to me and I can share the pictures. In addition to the regular Spirit Week days where we can't be in school together and get to go to games and make homecoming banners, we plan some activities. So each day, Tuesday through Thursday, there's a different activity to do online. On Tuesday, we have a virtual scavenger hunt, which is actually going to be really fun. I did one a couple weeks ago, and it was a blast. On Wednesday, there's going to be some trivia, and then on Thursday, there'll be a mystery event. So that's kind of, we don't want to give away any hints for that one yet. Anyone that's interested in participating in the activities needs to fill out the Google form that they're going to get in their email on Friday.
Make sure to sign up for a fun-filled week. This has been Chuck Rossi with Code Blue News, signing off.
And that wraps up this week's episode of Code Blue News. Next week's special guest will be Ruby Ambro. You'll see her next week. Goodbye.